a statement in there. They had a said, with the exception areas handed over to the release to the contractors or something. I always wondered what were those.
But the thing is, a lot of the land, especially in this area right here, would be classed as state lands, and some of the lands, so they could go almost anywhere that they want to. We heard that the next step, which is going to be this week sometime, they're going to start at the Sipare interchange, which is private lands all along this route over here. They haven't got permission from anyone in that region over here, so I don't know how they're going to start, because they initially started working on our land, but we ran them off by blocking the bulldozers and stuff and other means. And
so this house behind us here, this nice big house here, this house had to get knocked down?
Yeah, he owned 6 acres of land over here.
Right.
And he actually gave them 6 acres of land.
Okay.
Found out now that he's on a board in Kientech, on the board of directors.
Okay.
I don't know if he was compensated. He said he was not. I don't know how true was that.
Okay.
But he was the one essentially took along the route. They never got permission. They always ran out. The contractors always got ran off wherever they went. So I think he gave them a loophole essentially.
Guy, excuse me, I think you locked Melissa in the car. She said she can't get out. Childproof lock or something.
So what? The highway ends here at this point?
No, that's the Kaiserbad interchange, which is almost at the end of Mon Desir. Mon Desir is not far away, probably a couple of minutes away.
Right.
We took a longer route from the Sipare interchange, where we stopped out by the contractor.
Cardway.
The Cardway and EPI was going to be destroyed. We decided to take a longer route and well, to the north of this, and to eventually come at this point. But as you can see, the highway from interchange to interchange is not really that far apart. You know, we never really stopped.
Yeah.
Right.
It's not really that far apart. And on a general view, right, let's talk about traffic, which is the main point that they're trying to sell. People from Siparia have 2 options. They either go to DB or they could go to Orupuch Junction, which is over here, to get out. People to the left, like more Kaiserbad and Mon Desir side, they don't ever pass through to go to Penal and DB and stuff. They would go to Orupuch Junction to get out the traffic. And there's very little need for people in this area by here, Kaiserbad, Siparia, to go more to DB and stuff. They very rarely do that. They would more go to Orupuch Junction and from there go to San Fernando and stuff like that. So there's very little need for people to traverse this entire length of highway. Right? As I have said, it's very short distances apart, minutes apart, these interchanges are. And along the entire route, I think the road I was asking, if there's traffic, if there's no traffic from, let's say from along that whole
San Francisco area,
the ABA trees, all over here, there's absolutely no traffic on any time of day. There's no traffic, absolutely no traffic. The only point that I have said is that DB itself and at the SS area, the road leading up to DB, there is some traffic. At St. Mary's Junction, which is a couple of minutes from this point over here, you have traffic on mornings leading into that, and I explained that because of the bottlenecking, people trying to get onto the southern main route. As well as Sipara, which is off the entire highway project. Sipara is how long? About 200 meters in traffic. 100, 200 meters. The main business area in Sipara is about 100, 200 meters. Let's say from here to the most is by that yellow house over there in terms of traffic. And that's where all the businesses are. And the public sector, public services and stuff like that. Like the police station and health center.
A length of road that people have to traverse anyway.
Yeah. Plus there are many bypass routes in Sipara, multiple. Sipara is not a problem. You have many bypass routes to avoid Sipara. So people, but you still have the traffic along that Sipara main road, High Street Sipara, because people have to access the business places and stuff like that. Any attempt to take that traffic away is an attempt to, well, like, essentially kill the business within that area. And the same applies to the DB, SS area in road traffic. Any attempt to take traffic away from that would be detrimental to the
Suppose
business.
the next thing that's going to happen is that they're going to set up like a couple price plaza-ish kind of malls and take all of these small businesses out of those communities.
I don't think that they will do, but if they do that, I don't know.
But it's, I mean, isn't that what is kind of happening in a place like Shagona?
But exactly, that's what has happened in Shagonas.
I mean,
Because a lot of what used to happen like in the heart of Shagonas, right? Even the malls, Mid-Center Mall, Ramsaran, Plaza and Center City Mall. Now most of that traffic diverts and goes to Price Plaza and that area.
But even so, you're right. And even so, they still haven't even solved that didn't even take away.
It didn't stop the traffic problem because you still have people who need to access Main Road Shagonas and Eleanor Street and that kind of thing in the back there, and Carney Savannah Road where there's still a lot of businesses.
Right.
But you also find that there's a sense in which they try to make Price Plaza a commercial center.
But what about the businesses that existed there long before, the small businesses and stuff? Wouldn't
But
that in the long run affect
of course it
those
does.
businesses?
I mean, what
would feel
Ravi
like
G
bigger.
was saying, who's a pundit who has a,
Yeah, I know
you know,
Ravi G.
what he was saying is that now when they go, they aren't those businesses anymore. So whereas they would have gone to those little businesses and said, look, we need to get this little bit of money from them
It would more
to
favor
do
now the
things.
bigger businesses.
Now, if you have to go and ask Woodford Cafe for money, that have to go to Port of Spain, whereas
Correct.
everybody else who trying to get $500 or whatever to put on something. So it's changed the whole economics of the community.
You're right. So a lot of small businesses, especially along the road,
Yeah.
will be destroyed. And you can see a lot of multi-million-dollar industries, businesses will
Absolutely,
be
that's
destroyed
what's
as
going
well.
to happen.
And we calculated well over 13, and most of that well over 5 multi-million-dollar industries. Like for example, Joker and General Contractors, which we saw along the route. He's one of the biggest contractors. He has about, how many acres we need?
13. He told me 13 acres.
13 acres. But he bought over more land as well, and right in that same area. So it's probably more than that.
Because he told me that part of his land is past like close to Banwari Trace.
Yeah.
I'd bounce him up in town in the protest now.
And they have about 1,000 workers in that little area. Then you have API General Contractor, API Contractors, one of the largest pipeline construction companies in the world. And he said any attempt to move out from his current area would see him actually moving out of Trinidad and Tobago and setting up probably in Africa or probably in Russia or something like that. He said it would not be feasible for him to... I have the video, we could probably share the video. I should have posted that on YouTube. But any attempt to move out of that area, this area, he said he would have to relook and see where another part of the world he can go and set up his business. Because he has business all over the world. People call him, and they do work for people in Africa, in Russia, all over the world, in Europe, all over Europe. And they do that same work right here in these areas. And they actually do the fabrication or whatever they need to do and send whatever that they do.